Satan.
Oh, God.
Hail Satan, he's our Lord. Hail Satan, he's our Lord. Hail Satan, he's our Lord.
I miss Mr. Show so much. That was such a great
too.
show. Bob Odenkirk he's a living legend, total genius. But I just love that fucking kid that they bring out.
Know.
And he's just like, it's like, and I want you to make pornographies for me.
The slothful child.
A slothful child will lead them. Oh my God. Did I ever tell you whenever they thought I was possessed by the devil when I was a kid?
What the fuck?
It was like, so my folks used to take me to the only video store in town called TSA. And well,
it was called TSA?
Yeah.
Did they make you take your shoes off before you went in there?
I did anyway. But this was like the 80s. This was like, I was like 4, so it was like 1986, 1987, somewhere abouts. And that's whenever this movie Demons came out. It was a Dario Argento produced movie. He didn't direct it, just produced it. And it had this really crazy looking bloody demon face like on the VHS cover, and I would go and look at it and I would psych myself out. I would just stare at it for as long as I could until it freaked me out and I'd run back to my parents.
Whoa.
And this was like over a course of like some months, this ongoing, psych out contest with the cover of Demons on
like
VHS.
Trying to see how brave you were.
Pretty much. So anyway, it started giving me nightmares and kind of started scaring me a bit. So I used to go to Head Start, which was kind of like preschool for poor brown kids, back in Pawnee. And there was this Bible lady that would come and give us Bible lessons every week.
At Head Start?
At Head Start.
Isn't Head Start federally funded?
Yeah, it's illegal, but
yeah.
It was the 80s, so she was trying to, get us to all, and this is a room full of 4-year-olds, trying to get a room full of 4-year-olds to close your eyes and pray. And I was too scared. She was like, why don't you want to close your eyes and pray? And I wasn't like articulate enough to say, because every time I close my eyes, I get scared because I see the cover to that movie Demons, and I've been trying to psych myself up with it over the past few months. Instead, I was just like, I don't want to close my eyes because every time I do, I see demons. That did not bode well.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they got all freaked out, and they had my folks take me to
They were like, Satanic Panic.
Yeah, this was the 80s, the mid-fucking 80s.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they took me to a child psychologist, and she told my mom, I was going to grow up to be a serial killer. And,
what the fuck?
Yeah, it was fucked up. My dad was all like, oh, you don't want to listen to her? She don't know what the hell she's talking about. And I'm kind of glad I didn't. At that age, I just wanted to be Batman. I wanted to hang out with the fucking Ninja Turtles. I had a whole bunch of G.I. Joes and He-Man and shit, but
I mean, back then they kind of thought that shit was satanic too, though.
Everything was pretty much.
Everything's satanic in the 80s.
If only they could see me now.
Yeah,
what
right?
now, preschool? What now, Bible lady? Look at me.
Turns out they were right.
Well, except, I don't really kill anything. I mean, I do eat a lot of cereal, so I mean, I could be a serial killer in that respect.
Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx.
Hi, my name is Sabrina, and I'm super green.
And this is Matt, and I am a meat popsicle.
And this is Sumo Punx. We don't have a song this time.
Yeah, not this.
Oh, I can do the blue opera lady.
Do it. She's twirling her arms.
Is that how it goes? Hi, welcome to our podcast. You can't just keep laughing. And and welcome to part 2 of episode 2.2, The Two Sides of Sumo.
2.
That's a lot of twos. So last time we did pro sumo, right? And
Yes.
this time we're going to do amateur sumo. But oh my god, guys, we have something to talk about.
Yeah, we found a
We
treasure
found
in
something.
the archives.
We found something on the internet.
So there was like some food company in Japan in like 2014, and they had, I think like the grand prize was 100 people got a Takata handprint and autograph from Endo. You know, Endo.
Yeah, Endo.
The people that got second place, and there were 5,000 of them, got these like Endo cushions.
I would have tried so hard to be second place.
So on the cushions, whenever we first found them and first found the reports of them, it was just the butt.
It's an Endo butt pillow.
And that's what we thought it was. We thought it was just an Endo butt pillow. And then like we saw all these little Twitter pictures that people were posting back in 2014, and it was just
of
the
just
butt.
Endo's butt on this pillow.
We were convinced that that's what they want, an Endo butt pillow. And I was like, what the fuck? Why don't I have a goddamn butt pillow? So we were like, who the fuck? It even started this whole thing. Well, who has a butt that is more worthy of being on a pillow? Having like, you know, your butt immortalized on a fucking cushion.
Yeah, we actually have a poll out right now of
That's what started the whole...
which Rikishi has the best buns.
Yeah.
So go find us on social media and vote on that. I think Toshinoshin is...
Toch is winning.
Yeah, Toch is winning right now.
And-
But oh my god, there are 5,000 of these Endo
Butt
pillows out there. And god damn it, I'm gonna find one.
There's 5,000. We have to find one. We need Japanese Craigslist. We need Japanese eBay.
Yes. Somebody tell me how to get on Japanese eBay. I'm sure there's one on there somewhere.
Endo butt pillow. We need one.
Endo butt pillow. We need 2. But what we're really here to talk about is amateur sumo. That is the theme of this episode. We did pro sumo last time. Now we're doing amateur sumo, and we're going to talk about some of the differences between the two.
Amateur sumo isn't on as grand of a scale as pro sumo. It's more of a regular sporting event than this grand spiritual ceremony. Mm-hmm. So the ritual aspects are really abbreviated, but it still has like bowing whenever you enter the ring, chirichozu, which is mimicking a ritual hand washing, and then the victory sankyo, where you squat down into sankyo and do the swipe where you flick the blood off the blade. And those are still very much rooted in Japanese culture, and that's what gives sumo its unique identity and within, you know, martial arts as a whole. The people that practice sumo aren't revered like they are, you know, in the pro world. It's just regular folks, you know. So amateur sumo is more grimy, you know. It's kind of that DIY atmosphere, and it's like in punk, how, you know, the people that make the music and the people that listen to the music are just kind of one and the same, egalitarian. That's kind of what amateur sumo feels like, you know.
Yeah, you can definitely hang out with an amateur sumo wrestler in a Walmart parking lot, chugging bottles of Robitussin. I'm not so sure you can do that with a pro sumo wrestler.
No. It's just regular folks, you know, just kids, students, weird 30-somethings with a wrestling death wish. And there's the strongman guys. I've seen them do sumo.
Oh, yeah, they get into sumo too. I love those strongman guys.
I do too.
They have so many different ways to like show how strong of a man they are.
Just to hulk out, just bulge their neck muscles and watch those veins just...
They get like gnarly nosebleeds. Trying to like
guys.
Carry a car down the street.
Yeah, fucking flipping kegs over really high. It's like a reverse limbo keg flip thing. I don't know, that shit. And the caber toss, how the fuck are you gonna flip a goddamn fucking tree trunk?
I don't know. That shit's wild,
that is
dude.
Awesome. But, you know, I could see that sumo speaks to the strongman, and I've seen it speak to people of other martial art disciplines and, you know, other grappling.
Judo guys seem to love it.
Yeah, judo guys, definitely. So, you know, preparing for an amateur sumo tournament is a lot like just, you know, right, any other sporting event. You know, you go warm up, go weigh in. So in Japan, where they actually have facilities for sumo, that's where you'll have dirt and clay dojos. But
like at the Kokugikan.
the Kokugikan. There's like, you know, even those high schools, you know, when we watch those, the All Japan middle school, junior high.
Oh, yeah.
Those
The
kids are
little
so
kids.
hardcore. Jesus,
They
it's
are.
13-year-olds tachiing the shit out of each other. That shit could be more brutal than some other shit that I've
Than
seen.
the
but-
adults sometimes.
Yeah, for real. You see, but those kids like grew up doing sumo, and they have actual, sumo specific facilities in their schools. And pretty much growing up, we even saw that. What was her name? Kon Hiyori, and she's on her company's sumo team. So even her company, is doing amateur sumo. So they have the facilities. They have the tradition training, on these dirt floor dojos, and that's definitely an institution in Japan, but. With the International Federation of Sumo, which I think the leaders of the IFS are actually, they are Japanese. And so they're the ones that wanted to be able to kind of regulate sumo to be doable, on a global scale. And, also to kind of make it a little bit more practical to do, whenever you're just, you're having a sumo tournament with kids, middle schoolers or high schoolers. I've noticed the college sumo tournaments have a little bit more in common with the pros, but I digress. So the IFS and the United States, anything that's IFS sanctioned is also going to be USSF sanctioned, which is the U.S. Sumo Federation, and that's where they have the white kind of tarp, where the tarawas are like kind of like a blue foam kind of thing.
Yeah. There's some sort of like blue. I don't know. They're kind of teal colored.
Yeah.
Foam. Yeah, and that's what makes the circle of the doyo.
So I don't know my colors, bro. I'm like, it's blue, but it's closer to teal, I think. But so we're in Japan, you have your dirt or clay doyo, and you have the tarawas are made out of rice bales. These are kind of I think it's like a foam or something.
Some sort of synthetic substance.
But if you see like a white tarp with the blue, that means it is sanctioned by the IFS, and in the United States, that means it's kind of a bigger deal tournament. I have seen some lower scale regional tournaments where they do have, like Dark Circle Sumo has a like a black tarp. with a black
they have
tarawa.
that cool black one.
Yeah, they got the goth amateur doyo.
Because they're Dark Circle.
Yeah, Dark Circle.
Ooh, quick aside. Who do you think is secretly goth among the pro Rikishi?
Oh God, definitely Shodai.
Shodai.
He's so dour, he's just kind of like, well, I just wasn't at my best today, but I'm just gonna have to just think about what I did.
Oh,
super
Shodai.
introspective, but he's badass enough to stay,
He's
in
still
Ozeki.
Ozeki.
He is still Ozeki, and all those Shodai haters, it's like, let's see you do better, motherfucker.
Right?
Can
You're
you hold
not
on-
Ozeki.
Yeah, you couldn't hold on to it for that long. Fucking goddamn armchair Rikishi. Anyway. With the referees, they don't have actual gyoji, like they do in the pro sumo, because they're like Shinto priests. They're serving a more spiritual and social function.
Ceremonial.
Yeah, exactly.
A more ceremonial function, whereas the referees in amateur sumo look straight up like Colonel Sanders.
Or Mills Lane, But no, they look like kind of like a boxing, like a boxing referee. They got the little bow ties, the white pants,
Yeah.
white shirt, white pants, white shirt, black
I want a
cat,
good clean
Cadillac.
fight.
Let's get it on. So with the, just regular looking referees that you would see in, any other sport, I have seen Tom Zabel from Mighty Eagle Sumo, wear a yukata and actually use a gunbai, whenever he's doing some refereeing. I can't say I've ever seen that anything sanctioned, but I have seen him at some tournaments, like videos doing that. I always thought that was like super cool. Gyojis are part of the sumo system, much like the wrestlers are, and they have to live in stables, and they, have their hierarchy. So there's not necessarily a strict referee hierarchy, in amateur sumo. So, that's definitely a bit different. There's also the ringside judges, so where there's shimpan in pro sumo, there's, the ringside judges on each side, and the amateurs as well.
Except they sit in chairs.
Oh yeah, they got chairs. But the etiquette is still the same. You bow when you enter the ring. You do chirichozu, to kind of show that you. It's a purifying ritual, So even though you're not throwing the salt, you're still doing something something to symbolize that purification.
That's one thing that amateur sumo needs. There
Salt.
needs to be salt. God damn it! I want to see salt throwing in amateur sumo.
There
I
can
want to
only
see
be
it
one
thrown
salt bay.
right into people's eyes.
So with lack of salt, they still do chirichozu, and that does show respect to your opponent. It also shows that you're not holding any weapons, and it's still, maintaining sumo's identity as a Shinto ritual.
I just thought of something.
What's that?
Do they serve snacks at the Kokugi-Con
Yeah.
during the pro
They
sumo
got bentos.
matches? Dude, oh my god. Could you get French fries?
I don't know.
And then sit right next to the doyo, and then when they throw the salt, just hold your fries out to be salted.
I
Get
doubt-
the big salt throwers,
I'm
and
pretty sure that you have to eat food in a designated area, and you can't really take your food out onto the... Pretty sure that's an
Damn.
American thing.
That's another reason why amateur sumo needs salt throwing, so that I can eat French fries on the edge of the ring and get them salted for free.
So, after they do the chirichozu, they approach the shikirisin and go down into sankyo again to show that you don't have any weapons. And then the way that the bout starts, instead of, everyone synchronizing their breathing, staring each other down, deciding through mutual consent that it's going to start, and the gyoji calling hakyoi when the meat just presses into meat. The referee will actually call hakyoi whenever both wrestlers put both of their fists on the ground to indicate that they're ready. So the second that there's all four fists on the ground, they call hakyoi, boom, there is a clash of meat. It is a collision of a meat vehicle
Into another meat vehicle.
and
We're
it is
getting
awesome.
all existential now. We're all just meat vehicles.
But it's still the same, pretty much the same rules. You have to push your opponent out of the ring or make them touch the floor with anything other than the soles of their feet. So no punching, no kicking. You could trip people. You don't want to be pulling someone's hair, poking them in the eye, no elbows. Oh, and no harite. That means you don't wind up when you slap. You just have to, you keep your arms to your side. Boom. You could kind of, palm someone in the face, Oh, and then there's Corey. Corey's favorite Nadawa attack, whenever he just you can't grab the throat. You could open palm the throat and hold someone at bay.
The throat.
Yeah. He'll push your throat and my neck goes back like, and then, he just tosses my punk ass out the ring, So I've got your number, Corey. I got you. But, and you're still auto disqualified if your Mawashi falls off. So people of all nationalities, people from all backgrounds, people from different martial arts disciplines, a lot of people do sumo. We were even talking about the strongmen. So everybody can do sumo. And so in amateur, no one really lives at a stable. I have heard there are colleges that you could go to in Japan that kind of give you a sumo stable experience, especially if you're going to be doing sumo. So there's that. You don't have the morning practice. It's like you wake up and then you go to class and then you have afternoon practice. But the rest of the life is very sumo stable-esque. So, it's a way of life in Japan. The Rikishi do live a very ascetic lifestyle, a lot like monks. They are a social institution. They are highly revered. And amateur sumo, shit ain't like that. We're folks, we're just people. And, sumo to us is more of a hobby, more of a, a sport. For me, it kind of gave me better control over my life and helped me take control of my body. I developed discipline to work myself up into this Cadillac of sexiness you see before you right now.
Makes you foot good, too.
But, so sumo, for me...
He didn't hear what I said because he was laughing.
I was. It was probably mean.
No.
It's okay.
You just wait till you hear the playback.
So, sumo for me is a life calling, definitely. And I'm sure a lot of people that participate would also consider it a life calling as well. So other than just, people doing it for fun in Japan, they do have companies have sumo teams. We saw that Kon Hiyori documentary, and she is on her company's sumo team, and she's gonna be there at the World Games. So keep an eye out for her.
Yeah, it's kind of like how companies in the U.S. will have their own baseball team or something like that.
Yeah, so it's not just schools like middle schools, high schools, colleges, companies too. So that's how entrenched, sumo is in Japanese society. Not so much here, but we still like it. We still love it.
Yeah. And believe it or not, there are actually sumo tournaments around the U.S.
Yeah, there's some coming up pretty soon. So I haven't ever participated in a sumo tournament before.
Oh, no.
So this is going to be probably my first foray into actually doing tournaments. So I had, I've been going to practice. We went to like a demonstration.
I think you're going to do great. I think you're going to be fantastic.
But yeah, so this is going to be my first adventure into actually being in the tournaments myself instead of just kind of like watching them on YouTube. But so the tournaments aren't like, how in Pro Sumo that they have them in January, pretty much every other month throughout the year, 6 tournaments, each tournament 15 days. These are like maybe the weekend, maybe just one day, like for a few hours out of the day, on a Saturday, usually.
Much less grueling for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are some tournaments that are more seasonal, kind of like the Consulates Cup. I noticed they tend to have that in September. And the tournaments that we have, that at least the ones that I have lined up are just, the ones that I personally have information about. So more than likely there are more. And if you do have sumo tournaments that you'd like to let us know about so we could tell the whole internet about it, send them to us.
Yes. Hit us up on the Instagram, on the Facebooks,
the Twitter.
on the Twitters.
Okay, so without further ado, here are the tournaments that we have coming up here pretty quick. So there is February 19th in San Antonio, Texas at Kungjeongmusul of Texas. There is the 16th Texas Classic Sumo Tournament.
Yes.
Yeah! Amateur fucking sumo! Woo! And there's going to be some pretty fierce fucking wrestlers down there. I seen them. And just so, people know that this is the year 2022, and that's when these are happening. So, February 19th, 2022 in San Antonio, Texas.
In case you forgot what year it was.
Yeah, just in case. Anyway, so April 22nd and 23rd, which is a Saturday and a Sunday, there is the United States Sumo Nationals at FitCon, Utah. Salt Lake City at the Salt Palace Convention Center.
Salt, you say?
Salt. That SLC.
Salt.
You're salt. I wanted to make another SLC punk joke there, but I guess I'm just a poser.
Only posers die. After that one, there's the Fort Worth Japanese Spring Festival on April 23rd and 24th, which is a Saturday and a Sunday. This isn't really going to be a tournament, though. This is more of a demonstration. We actually attended the Japanese Fall Festival last year with our little nephew, and oh my God, he immediately got really into doing the kids' sumo matches. He was like a gangly little beast, just like ripping his shirt off and doing flips in the dojo.
I love it. He just like ripped his shirt off and was just pushing kids around.
That kid's gonna be a menace.
It was awesome. But yeah, like the fall festival was really cool. There's lots of good food vendors.
Yes.
It was at the
Fort Worth Botanical Garden.
Yeah, at the Japanese gardens area. It was so fucking gorgeous there.
So beautiful. Especially me. I was very beautiful.
She was.
Dressed up in my little gothic Lolita outfit.
It was great.
After that one, on June 11th, there's going to be the FitCon Texas at Fort Worth at the Panther Island Pavilion.
And some of these, more details are going to start rolling out as we get closer to the event. So, like with the Fall Festival, we only ended up doing, 1 day of sumo, out of those 2 days. So I'm not sure if we're going to do, 2-day demonstration or if it's just going to be one, but just keep listening. We'll tell you.
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely tell you.
Or if you feel up to it, you could just Google really hard for it.
Use your Google foo skills.
And then there is July 9th and 10th, Saturday and Sunday, the World Games.
Ooh.
Birmingham, Alabama, Boutwell Auditorium. This is the global event of amateur sumo. This is the outside of being in the pros or any of the bigger tournaments that happen to be in Japan. This one is the whole goddamn world. So this is going to be really freaking cool. So the World Games has a lot of other sports, not just sumo. So in the realm of combat sports, they have jiu-jitsu. In the Olympics, they have judo, but they have jiu-jitsu. Kickboxing, which is going to be really fucking cool. Muay Thai.
Oh,
Holy shit.
yes,
I am
Muay
stoked
Thai.
about Muay Thai. And Wushu. Wushu is very artistic. So there's going to be karate where they have the kata, and the Wushu kind of has demonstrations like that. It's going to be so fucking cool. But of course, there's archery, there's billiards, there's bowling, powerlifting, tug of war.
Yeah, the World Games is basically like the alt Olympics.
Yeah, pretty much. They have dancing. They have fucking break dancing
Oh
at
my
the
God.
goddamn World Games.
I
am
have to see
stoked.
it.
Seriously, the break dancing, and then they even have like the tango and the rumba.
Although I wonder, of all of the places they could have had the World Games, why Birmingham, Alabama? And in the middle of July.
It's going to be a very
Oh,
humid
it's gonna be
World
moist.
Games. And then September 3rd, the Consulates Cup in Dripping Springs, Texas at Dreamland.
Wait, what's the name of that town?
Dripping Springs. So that's
Texas, why are you so weird?
That's where the U.S. Sumo Nationals were last year at Dreamland, and it looked really cool. It's kind of like I know they have like mini golf there, and it's like a fun
Do
center.
they got water slides?
I don't know if they have water slides. I did know that they have mini golf, and they had booze because there was plenty of drunk people wanting to try sumo. And
Do they have go-karts?
We're gonna have to find out. We're just gonna have to go.
If they have booze, I really hope they have go-karts.
So this is another one of those, I think, that may still be tentative kind of thing. So just keep an eye out. But so far, with the info that I have, September 3rd, Saturday, Consulates Cup, Dripping Springs, Texas at Dreamland. So another way that amateur sumo tournaments are going to differ from the pro sumo tournaments are weight classes. As you may know, there are no weight classes in pro sumo. That's why you can see those teeny tiny little guys like Inho, like go and pick up giant dudes like Yago by like the actual toes and just toss them out.
Oh my God, that shit is so gnarly. Like, how does this itty bitty dude just like pick up a giant by his ankles and just toss him out of the fucking ring?
The magic of the Ashitori leg pick. But it's really cool. Those underdog stories like that unfold in pro sumo, that's kind of like, what attracted me to it. And, so even though there are weight classes in amateur sumo, you can still see a lot of that mixed. There are open weight competitions. Yes. And so you can see some of that giant slaying happen. And even though I am one of the giants, I would probably get slayed, but... So here are the weight classes. So for the men's classes, there is lightweight up to 85 kilos or 187 pounds. Mm-hmm. Middleweight up to 115 kilos or 254 pounds. Mm-hmm. And then heavyweight is over 115 kilos or 254 pounds. So on the women's side, lightweight is up to 65 kilos or 143 pounds. Middleweight up to 80 kilos or 180 pounds, and heavyweight is over 80 kilos or 180 pounds. And then the open weight, it's a free for all. It's all versus all in open weight, and that's really cool to see. I really like that. And I think one of the reasons that they like to keep the open weight in amateur sumo is because it's in the spirit, of the grand sumo, where it pretty much the whole thing is open weight.
Absolutely.
Another difference would be the belt system.
Belts.
Yeah, belts. So there are no belt ranks in pro sumo. It's, they have their own ranking system, which we've discussed in our previous episode. But in amateur sumo, it is possible for someone to earn a black belt in sumo. If you prefer to have a more formalized education and, learn something in an actual curriculum, with an actual pedagogical methodology, then yes, you can actually take belt tests and advance and rank in sumo, kind of like you would with karate or, other martial arts like that. There is a prevailing attitude, where you kind of want to emulate what the pros are doing or kind of want to get as close as you can to practicing sumo like that. So there are a lot of people that would prefer to just do the sumo without the curriculum, and then just they just want to learn by doing, and I have to say I respect that.
Yeah, who needs a belt when you have a Milwaukee?
So as someone who hasn't done a tournament just yet and has just watched them on YouTube, my experience and my journey with amateur sumo is just beginning. It's something that I had been studying definitely informally for a few years, but actually being able to get to do sumo and to learn sumo always seemed to be kind of pie in the sky. Like I'd have to move out to LA or Hawaii if I really wanted to get into doing sumo, especially whenever I was looking for martial arts to do, and now all I was finding really was judo and couldn't find a gi in my size or anything. So when I finally got to meet up with Dallas Sumo Club, that opened everything up for me. I got to meet all kinds of new folks, got to see all of these events that I didn't even think were out there, and they were practically in my backyard this whole time. But I just feel like that this episode is going to be me carving my initials to a picnic table somewhere in a park, and then going off. And after I get a few tournaments under my belt and get some traveling under my belt, I could come back in a couple of years and just see where I've been, see how far I've come, and maybe listen to this episode again and be like, oh God, what the hell was I even talking about? But this is my starting point, and I'm getting to do what I love, and that's fucking cool. I'm going to get to live the sumo life.
Go back to the picnic table and look longingly at those initials you carved into it. Sounds a lot more respectable than some things I've done on picnic tables.
Yeah.
If all of this sounds intriguing to you and you're thinking about getting into sumo yourself, you can always look around for local sumo clubs in your area, or you can start your own. We actually had a guy hit us up on Instagram who was very, very interested in starting sumo, but he didn't have any sumo clubs in his area, and I looked really hard. I went ahead and shared some of the events coming up with him, and I suggested that if he has the time to travel, he should try to make it out. But I also want to encourage him, if he's listening, to go ahead and start his own sumo club. Talk to your friends, dude. See who's interested. Watch some Keikos or sumo practice videos online. Reach out to other sumo clubs across the country.
Yeah.
Everyone has been super supportive from what I've seen and are willing to bend over backwards, sometimes literally, to help get new clubs set up.
We'll be doing an episode later about what it takes to start your own sumo club. But honestly, all you really need is just determined fighting spirit and a willingness to reach out to those who've already tried it. There's amateur sumo clubs popping up all over the U.S. these days, and people are getting fucking stoked about it. I joined the Dallas Sumo Club, which has only been around for about a year. But to give you an idea of what motivates people to do it, we gathered some quotes from some Dallas Sumo Club members. So we asked, what got you into sumo?
Jonathan Flowers says that he got into sumo by way of rugby. He says he couldn't always make it to the live practices and felt he needed something to simulate being tackled. Around the same time, he says he started reading the Hinomaru Zumo manga, and he noticed that a lot of their moves were similar to rugby. After researching rugby players using sumo as a way to train, he says that he found an article about how the lower posture and thrusting forward in sumo exercises would work wonders for building muscle against impact in rugby. So he started doing the exercises and got curious about finding some actual sumo wrestling in his area. After a few hours of searching online, he says he stumbled across a Facebook page called Dallas Sumo Club, and he was instantly interested.
Sounds familiar.
After some social media stalking, he says he decided he wanted to hit that guy in the cowboy hat as hard as he could. Of course, he says this in a joking way. The guy in the cowboy hat is the Oyakata, or coach of the Dallas Sumo Club, Corey Morrison. So he hit up Corey and had his first Keiko the Sunday after Mother's Day, and he says he's been hooked ever since.
And then Dallas Sumo Club member Sean Byrd says that he had always loved Japanese culture, and through that came sumo, and he didn't really get deep into it until, common theme, he watched Hinomaru Sumo. And then he started watching Pro Sumo, and then just got to wanting to try it. And yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's about an inch taller than me, and he's one of the few guys that actually uses like pushing and thrusting instead of, just going straight for the belts.
Gosh, so many people get into it through that anime,
I know.
though, or the manga. Then we have Jared Tadlock, who said that he had a wrestling background already. And what got him into sumo was really just seeing the spectacle of it all. The presentation and the pageantry and the sheer size and force of the wrestlers.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of people had mentioned the presentation and grandeur of sumo as being their gateway for getting into sumo themselves.
It was definitely one of mine. So we also asked, what is your favorite part of the sumo tournament experience? And Jonathan says, I love meeting all the Rikishi in the nation, all caps. He says, holy hell, it was such a great time when there's 80 plus of us in one spot. The tension and love is too high to describe. Hard fought matches that end in hugs and tears. Ah, I love it. Can't wait to hit a big stage again.
Then we have Sean Byrd, who says he hasn't been to any sumo tournaments yet, but if it's anything like other martial arts tournaments that he's been to, he would say he's looking forward to the camaraderie and getting to see the different skills and styles of the other fighters.
Jared concurs as well and says that he likes the camaraderie and then the ability to turn on that competitive side.
Yeah.
The last question that we asked was, what do you hope to see in amateur sumo in 5 years?
Mm-hmm. Albert Martinez says that hopefully amateur sumo can help dispel some of the cliches about sumo, but he did say he's anxious about how that potentially will progress in the U.S., which I can kind of understand.
Yeah,
it's a different
definitely.
culture for sure.
Yeah. Dakota Eggert says he hopes it becomes a bigger sport amongst the people and makes it into the Olympics.
And then finally, Jonathan Flowers says that he wants to see more kids in sumo within the next 5 years. He says kids are the future, and if we're building a long-standing sport, then we need to focus on them before adults. But he also says he's kind of a madman.
Yeah.
I tend to agree.
Yeah. Jonathan's great.
He is.
So if you do amateur sumo and, interested in a couple of weirdos asking you a bunch of questions, hit us up on social media or, email us at sumopunx with an X @gmail.com. And yeah, we're all over the place on social media doing God knows what.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna post some of these questions up on our various social media, Twitter and Instagram and all that, and then you can go ahead and just comment on those posts with whatever answer you'd like to give.
Yeah.
Well, what's on the old record player during today's sumo practice?
Today was Corrupt Vision. It was a record called These Hands of Mine. And I got it a while ago, and I've been, giving it some listens. And what I really like about it, it really reminds me of whenever I was in high school. And I was playing in a band that was very much that style. And we were listening to lots of Against All Authority, thought we were fucking cool. And we were cool, damn it.
I believe you. I've always told you if we had met as teenagers, you would have totally gotten me teen pregnant.
So anyway, these guys are from Orange County, and they play like a style it's like a blend of fast hardcore and power violence, and then with some ska thrown in there. And if you've ever known me as a teenager, that's like right up my alley. So the ska is kind of like a diacritic mark. It adds like a different depth and dimension to their brand of hardcore. They do have like some full-on ragers just straight up, blasting their way into oblivion with Idol Killer and I Love Amelia. Yeah, I Love Amelia doesn't really sound like it would be like a really fast, blistering song, but it is. It's nice juxtaposition there. So
That sounds like some emo shit.
it's like emo violence, but with ska. So I don't know, like those two songs, like Idol Killer and I Love Amelia, kind of remind me of like Code 13 or Charles Bronson, like just really fast, mean, pissed off 90s hardcore. And then it'll meander into some territory kind of like what I would think Against All Authority would want to be. But I don't know, Corrupt Vision like refines that really catchy punk fused with ska, and then they blast beat your fucking face in just like a harite, just and then there's No Future. That song's like a sinister cocktail of blistering hardcore, and it's got some like haunted ska parts. It's kind of gives it like a spoopy quality, like Ghost Town by the Specials.
Ooh, I love it when my ska is haunted.
Definitely spoopy. Life is Expensive. Life is Expensive kind of rides that vibe too. Friends Like These. I love that song. It's like, that mascot dude from the Circle Jerks that's like wearing the bandana and kind of skanking around like that. It's
With
like
the sunglasses
yeah,
and the hat.
It's like you could actually skank in the pit throughout the whole song, and you'd still be dancing in a style consistent with like each of their breakneck tempo changes and ska breakdowns. So it's like, yeah, the whole record's like that. It's fucking great. And there's these two songs that I really like from some of their previous recordings, like Bottoms Up and Get Out Your Guns. Get Out Your Guns is fucking great.
Oh, yeah.
And
I remember that one. That one is great.
they're catchy as fuck, and they will get stuck in your head. And then you'll find yourself singing the lyrics at really inopportune times, like when you're doing tech support for senior citizens. The record ends with Eastbound, which oddly enough was the first song I heard from this record, and it is catchy as hell and a pretty strong way to end this jaunt through a nostalgic and catchy soundscape. But it's got more recent socio-political lyrics that'll have your neighbors look at you weird when you jam out to this in the parking lot before bringing your groceries in the house. And the sound quality is really clear. It's minimalist, but really clear. And the clean guitar tone, it definitely sounds like the ska parts are like fat and just sprinkled with the right amount of reverb. I love that shit. And what I like about Corrupt Vision is they're playing what's in their hearts, and it really shows. You can tell that they're playing in their own style. They're playing the music they like and what they like to listen to.
They're doing their own brand of ska.
They're doing their own brand of sumo in the ska world. So overall, the record is unpolished. It's raw, heartfelt, and it reminded me of a more innocent time in my life when things weren't so apocalyptic and scary. But, there was still shit to be pissed off about. So it gives me the feeling of hope I had as a kid, whenever the world was fucked up and I was like, all right, we got this. Makes me feel like I got this again. Or at least lets me remember what that feeling felt like as a kid. So yeah, Corrupt Vision, These Hands of Mine. And more than likely have links in the description.
Yeah. Or you could just Google them.
Google them. You could just Google hard.
You can Google anything these days.
But yeah, or you could Bing it. You can't ask Jeeves it anymore.
Well, y'all, that was episode 2.2 of the Two Sides of Sumo, which is actually episode 3, technically.
Chronologically.
Whatever. Time doesn't exist.
It's a construct. So
you can check us out on the social medias. We got a few of those. We got Instagram.
Yeah, at Sumo Punx. We are also on the Facebook. If you book faces.
If you're one of the 7 people who follows us on Facebook.
We're lonely on Facebook.
Well, that's just because it's mostly boomers on Facebook, and yeah. I'm not sure if that's really our demographic.
If they want to listen to us talk about hot genital on genital action and large human beings slamming into each other, well...
Or maybe it's just because we suck and nobody wants to listen to our podcast. Who knows?
Oh, well, fuck them.
We also have...
a Twitter.
Yeah.
We have the Twitbird.
We're on Twitter, although I fucked up the Twitter account, so our name is backwards. It's actually Punx Sumo on Twitter.
So to talk to Sumo Punx, you at Punx Sumo.
And Punx is always spelled with an X.
For extra sex.
Then I wanted to make a Reddit thing too.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go to that. I don't even know how to say that. I feel so out of touch. Is it r/sumo? Is it just /sumo? I don't know.
I don't. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna find out.
I never got on that
motherfucker.
train. So hostile. Then I am planning on making a TikTok as well to get Gen Z on board. Yeah, and I promise I did actually order pop filters.
Yeah, I'm gonna not have so many plosives. I'm
Yeah,
not
sorry
freaking
about that.
Tezande. I can't just just like.
We're broke dick, okay? We can't afford all the fancy recording shit.
Or hosting sites. Yeah. We're just gonna have to find some place to squat in
This
cyberspace.
is real grimy punk shit, man. Yeah, we're just gonna squat a podcast hosting site.
And if you know about RSS feeds, hit us up.
I mean, I'm sure I could figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I just don't want to put the money toward it. Anyway, that's our show.
Thank you guys.
Hope you guys enjoyed.
Come back.
Bye.
Bye.
Stay salty.